Revolutionary Wrestling Podcast for our MMA Roundup. We're going to review how our predictions for the last MMA Roundup went, and we're going to look forward into the happenings and big-time matches of the world of MMA. So, the last three matches that were big-time: Bader Mitrione, Fedor versus Sonnen, and the big dogs, McGregor versus Khabib.
Well, let's see. McGregor, Khabib, that was interesting. Don't really need to delve too far into all of that.
I will say my prediction that Khabib would keep his cool.
Not so much.
No. Now, he did stick to his strategy in that fight, but there was a really good WWE segment after. Oh, no, that was UFC.
No, it was still UFC.
Yeah, sorry. I could have sworn.
No, but you were right.
I was just waiting for somebody to go, "If you smell!"
No, you were right, though. I mean, he was hungry. Conor wasn't. There you go.
Yep.
He
was hungry to rock.
So, yeah, Conor got his ass kicked, and so did so many other people that night.
Yeah, that one started a brawl.
It got shady.
Odd.
We'll see the aftermath of that moving forward, but over in Bellator, the Fedor versus Chael Sonnen.
Just a swinging right that put him on his ass.
I do want to say, I saw a lot of people saying that Fedor dominated Chael, but my thinking was...
It was a pretty good fight until that point.
You know, while Fedor dominated the fight, I counted probably a handful of times where a younger, hungrier fighter maybe catches Fedor in something and probably finishes that fight way sooner. That was just my thoughts on it. Fedor did look good on his win, though. You know, congratulations, Fedor. I had Fedor. We both had Fedor, did we not?
Yeah.
There you go.
When it came to the Mitrione versus Bader fight, I had Mitrione because he's always seemed to find his way into odd victories.
Yeah.
But he had Bader, and with everything you just said there, it does make the Fedor-Bader fight interesting.
Yes, it does.
Now, I'm just going to go ahead and say it. I still have Fedor.
Okay.
Who do you got?
I got Bader. Bader 100% because of exactly what I just said. Because Bader's young, hungry. This is what puts him back on the map. He's going to catch Fedor on one of those little openings that he gets because Fedor gives them now. Mm-hmm. He's in that stage. He's going to give that
now,
opening.
He always has.
Always has, but Bader...
He just catches you when you think you've figured him out.
And Bader has a very, very good, just all-around game, and he's good at picking apart those little openings, and I think he's going to take one. Bader's going to win that Grand Prix tournament.
So, all right. Now, moving forward even more.
Tomorrow night, actually.
DC Lewis. I'm going to be honest with you. DC is going to grind him into a fine powder. Lewis has a puncher's chance. Just like anybody, he could catch a right, but that's all he's got is a right hand versus DC's years of wrestling pedigree. So I think DC... And yeah, DC's good on stand-up. I mean, but it's going to be his wrestling that's going to give him the W here.
I'm going to go ahead and agree that DC gets the win, but I think, you know what? Knockout. First round, knockout.
Really?
Yep.
All right.
There you go.
We shall see. And before we leave you, folks, there's just one last thing we need to address, and that is the impending return of John Jones. So... we don't know who his opponent's going to be. I think, Gustafson's throwing up a real stink that he wants to face him again. So, I'd love to see it.
It depends on what John Jones comes back. He's a freak athlete. We know he can fight. We know he wins a lot of fights. How hungry is he at this point? And what kind of shape is he going to be in? Where's his head at? That's what it's going to boil down to.
The real money fight is when Brock does eventually come back. The question is, does Brock go with DC or Jones?
I think he's going to go with DC, but I feel like...
the title fights are bigger money fights.
I think if DC gets the win tomorrow night... He will. I think... I assume that they're going to throw somebody at Lesnar, give him a feel-good win as soon as they can to try to hype up that DC-Lesnar match.
I think if Lesnar comes back and DC defeats Lewis, they give Lesnar DC right out the gate.
Okay.
It's a bigger money fight. They don't want to risk tarnishing that big money draw they have. So it would be, I think Lesnar's first fight back is either going to be the returning John Jones or for the heavyweight championship against DC.
Gotta be. It has to be one of the two.
There's no other fight he would realistically take. He's worth too much money.
Athletic-wise, John Jones, Brock Lesnar's a fight to see, but stylistically,
Jones takes it.
Probably.
Yeah.
Stylistically,
sorry. I mean,
your best puncher
Jones
chance for Brock Lesnar
Jones
is Cormier.
strikes will be the difference there. Jones strikes.
Yeah, they will.
He'll kick Brock's legs out from under him.
And that's why they want to put him against Cormier, because there is that slim chance that he gets him where he wants him and grinds it out just enough. It's not going to happen. I'd say, slightly better chance.
If Jones actually shows up clean. He seems to have a problem testing positive when it comes to DC.
Well, then
so that means that he's in his head somewhere.
Hey, then we can have that John Jones-Cormier fight that, hey, Joe, maybe stay out of the octagon this time around. That was not your finest moment. No. And on that note, we'll finish this up. I'm Tony G.
I'm Phil KOE, and we will see you on the flip side of this MMA Roundup.